Hello and welcome back to Creative Conversations. I'm Michael Shaun Corby. I'm the Global Education Ambassador for Amica, but you probably know me as the NAHA Chair, or maybe you've seen me hosting the red carpet now and then. I do love to see what people are wearing. Today's not really about what they're wearing, though. It is about what's in their mind, what makes them tick. These are casual conversations for you to get to know your favorite artists, to learn their process, and to, have a little fun along the way and leave feeling inspired. They're just about 30 minutes, so make sure you watch the whole thing. There's so many great nuggets. If you've ever thought about entering NAHA, if you're not a PBA member, become a PBA member. And if you've ever thought about competitions, these are the shows you want to watch because they really do give away a lot of their tips and tricks. So what do you say we get started? Our first guest today. I'll save his name for last, but he is the 2024 Master Hairstylist of the Year. He is the creator and founder of Just Be Hair Salon. And that's an incredible salon. I was looking at it online. So if you haven't, go ahead and follow him on Instagram. He's been in this industry since he was 16 years old, just a baby. So I'm going to ask about that in a little bit. You know him as a top Redken artist, platform guy, including his education at the Redken Exchange. He teaches right there in the Exchange in New York City. He's done various hair shows, including the world famous Redken Symposium. You've seen his work on MTV and VMAs, 7 seasons of Fashion Week. Oh, we saw him for a little second there. But here's the cool thing. He just started entering NAHA in 2023. He was a finalist for Hairstylist of the Year, a finalist for Cutting, first time entering. And then he thought, well, enough of this entering. I'm going to go with the invite only category. It's very prestigious to be invited. And he wins the 2024 Master Hairstylist of the Year. This guy is interesting and really has a lot of talent. I can't wait to dig into. Please welcome to the show. Now he can come in, Brayden Pelletier.
What's
It's
up?
okay.
What's up?
You'll kind of pop up for a second. I think it'll be really cool.
Right. What's up,
Oh,
man? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So, I mean, Master Stylist, your first win is Master Stylist. What does that feel like? What's going through your head? You're probably
It's
still
still, I
excited.
mean, it's still kind of like sinking in, I guess. Yeah, I was, my perspective from the previous year, changed going into this one, and I was actually shocked. Uh,
Wow.
honestly, um, it's kind of funny because when you got Sam V as a mentor, the previous year, 2 nominations, and like 20 minutes before the show, we're on the red carpet. He's like, "You got 2 speeches ready, right?" And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "No, you got to have 2 speeches. What if you win two? You can't have one speech, man." So this one going in, I was like, you know what? I like planned the speech and I was like ready.
Yeah.
And this one coming in this year, I didn't plan anything.
Oh,
I
no.
knew, of course, who I was going to thank, um, but I figured it'd be a little more authentic if I just shot it off the hip versus pulling my phone out, reading it.
Yeah.
So everything that everybody got in that acceptance speech was raw and uncut, live, no
Pure
plan.
memory. Of course, Sam told you where are your 2 speeches. I mean, the man is known as the master educator of all time, even winning the Educator of the Year, 2 years back or 1 year
Mhm.
back. So you have a great mentor. Your journey started at 16 years old. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so I was in high school. I think my first job was working on cars at 15. Prior to that, I worked for people like at their house, odd and end jobs, friends of family. I was all about I got like $50 for shoes for the year. So it was
Yeah.
like if you wanted more shoes as a kid, you had to buy them. So
Yeah.
all the things like my first Sega Genesis I had to buy. Which now, at the time I was like, my parents don't love me. But now I see that it was for a reason, right? But
Yeah.
yeah. So I was kind of working odd and in, and it was like summertime, and a friend from high school was like, "Hey, you could get a job at the salon. You already go there, and you could get your hair cut for free." And I was like, "Oh," and they were like, "And you'll meet all these amazing people and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Hang out with, you know, cool people all day long?
Right.
I'm sign me up." I knew the owner from, like, he was a family friend from church growing up. And
Yeah.
so, and which is Salon 124 Brian Purdue, a school, the Kuhn Academy,
Wow.
like 8 locations. Yeah, I kind of started as his odds and in guy, like change the oil in his truck, paint this building, build these stairs.
Yeah.
And on Saturdays when people would have a long Friday night and call out, they would throw me in the salon to do assist or whatever. And so I channeled my inner Zohan, and I can
Yeah.
remember making like $100 a day in tips shampooing. I mean,
Ah.
my back still hurts from those days, but like, yeah. So I started there. I started in the salon there. Um, at 16, working a few hours. I played sports in high school, went
Yeah.
on to college, played sports, got hurt my first year, and came back to the salon. So, yeah, I worked there from like 16 until 30
Okay.
years old. And then
Not
I
just
opened.
shampooing though, right?
No, yeah, okay. So here's the crazy part. When I came back from school, they talked me into doing hair. My dad was like, "Hey, like if you're gonna do this, you got to be like the best at doing this."
Right.
So we made goals. We created all these things. I learned hair cutting in a week, coloring in a week, styling and perming in a week, and I worked 2.5 years without a license.
Wow.
And if state board came, I hid. So I had $100,000 a year clientele, and I basically was like, "Hey, if you they like told me like if you fail state board, you're off the floor." So I was like, "Oh man." So yeah, I remember I studied for,
Their
I have a
path.
master's license, so I know like nails, massage. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah.
still have my nail that I built. I mean, if I quit doing hair, I'm gonna start building nails. Pins and heights were my thing, man. I was good with the filer. Get that thing smooth. So
So, so what took you so long to get into NAHA? What took you so
uh,
long to go from this ambitious mechanic, athlete, stylist, state board dodger into super successful salon? What took you so long? And do you have any advice for people who think it's maybe too late, like they didn't start in their 20s entering competitions?
yeah, it's kind of funny that you say that. We just did symposium in Nashville. Leslie Marino, who's like you know,
Yeah,
President L'Oreal USA, all the brands, right?
yeah,
And she was wrecking GM earlier, said to me, which is kind of what I'll say to you is it's not the best to hit the hot when you're in high school. And I was like,
yeah,
what do you mean by that? And she's like, think about all the kids in high school that were the popular kids that won all the things. A very, very small portion of them are winning now. It's better to hit your prime when you're later than, later on in your life when you have the experience
yeah,
and you're ready for it, than to hit it kind of coming off the gate. It's funny because when I started my career, I would shoot a lot. I mean, I don't know if you remember Tom Carson's did all the publication magazines. And I
yeah,
mean, I still have them, a magazine after magazine after magazine covers and all
yeah.
these things. When I started with Redken, it was, everything that I imagined in my mind was way more than I thought people could handle.
Yeah,
So to shoot Naha now or enter it now, there's kind of um, some ultimately it was a proof to myself that I was one of the best.
right.
Um, but really, I had always told myself that when I enter, I'm entering to win. Like
Right.
everybody says, oh, it's a great opportunity to get a finalist. No, as my kids say, like, as you can see my trophies, like we
Yeah.
doing it for the hardware. This is different than behind the chair with your clients, making
Yeah.
them feel great. All that is that you're honestly doing it. It's a very vulnerable kind of state to put your stuff out there and it be subject to being judged by a bunch of great hairdressers, people
Oh
involved in
yeah.
the
Names,
industry.
names, names.
Yeah, and you don't even know who they are or what. I mean, you know what
No,
they're looking for, but you don't know what they're looking for.
and they
You
don't
know
know who you are either. So they might be
exactly.
digging in and not knowing it's their best friend.
So it's like I say it's like The Voice, right?
Yeah.
The Voice, the show, right? You hear someone sing and you're like, wow, like I don't
Yeah.
even know what they look like or their story or any of that. I'm solely judging them based on their voice, and I think NAHA is a lot like that. Other competitions, maybe not so much, but NAHA is really, kind of like the blind audition.
Yeah.
And then you make the finalist nomination, and then from there, it really is. It's a whole kind of vibe. And so for me, honestly, teaching with Rec and traveling for so long, um, having the great opportunity, for me, it was more important to teach people
Mm.
of kind of what got me where I was at. I always say, like, I'll teach it in a closet with a candle. It is why I am as skilled, I say, quote unquote, as people say I am.
Yeah.
It goes back to the education and kind of Redken really putting me around the Chris Barons, the Chris
Yeah.
Sorbys, the Ruth Roche, like Sam Villa. Like I've been around them for 20 years.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just kind of sit back and watching them do it. And, watching, I made a joke to Ruth. I was like, can a boy get one win? You got like 10, 9, 8, however many you got. Like, can
Yeah.
you share the wealth, Ruth? Like, you
Right.
know,
And
so
did you give her a hard time backstage? Did you show her
yeah,
because she was there?
yes,
Hey,
so
Chris.
yeah, right. So it's like all those amazing hairdressers. It's a lineage to kind of follow.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was I dreamed about them, I envisioned them, I planned them, but I never did them until I felt the time was right. Um, that it was like my opportunity to kind of carry the torch as like the young generation, but I'm not young. But in that kind of game, I guess I am the young one,
Yeah.
or one of the younger ones, right? So
I don't know. I hope Ruth isn't hearing you say that. So let
they're gonna, they know I shoot it straight. Like I don't, there's no fluff or bluff with me. I'm
so
gonna just, shoot it straight. I mean, she's been
I want to
21
dig into.
for 30 years, so
Yeah, I mean, she's amazing. Mentored so many
so
of
amazing.
my friends. Tell me this. So this collection, if you're not following this gentleman, we'll put up the details to follow. He posts a lot of behind the scenes of shooting this year's collection. It really, I mean, you would think all that stuff is done in post, and it wasn't. You were right there live. I want you to first talk about and we'll try and get up photos of this if we can in post, but I want you to first talk about the collection. Did it have a name? What sparked the idea? And then execution. It's so interesting from any shoot I've ever seen, which probably is a big part of the reason why it won Master Hairstylist. So let's start with where's the inspiration in this glowing example of Master Stylist. Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah, right. So the collection is called Bioluminescence, and so I know everybody's probably been to an aquarium, seen the ocean, things like that. There's a kind of natural um, phenomena that happens. Uh, and I live in Atlanta, so right, the Georgia Aquarium, amazing. If you haven't
Yeah,
been there, it's like crazy the stuff that they
amazing.
have. You can like pet sharks. It's like nuts. You can sign up to swim with dolphins. Well, they have these exhibits in like it's kind of like you go kind of on a tour and it's kind of underground and they have these giant like spider crabs. They are like the size of cars, and it's like backlit with blacklight, right? Then they have also like these things that live like in the depths of the ocean, kind of that
Yeah.
exhibit. And so you can kind of see with the black light the way these things move and the way they glow, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it was like pretty amazing. Like the way that your eye perceived it. We always were taught, what we see is not really what it is as it relates to hair color. It's how
Yeah.
light reflects and the way we perceive it, right?
Right.
So I kind of had this idea of that. And if you look at the pictures, to shoot it in black light and it glow and like all the things, that was part of it. But really what I wanted was the details in the details. So I know everybody's like been to a club or a party or a rave or whatever.
Yeah.
And in my younger days, you could catch
Never.
me at the MJQ in Atlanta and all the spots, right?
Yeah.
But what I learned was the coolest part was being like under, up at the stage, the music's going, they drop the beat, the lights go black, the black lights are on, and
Yeah.
somebody's got the pearliest white teeth, white socks on, or blonde hair.
Yeah.
And when they start moving,
Mm.
the way it like looks in the light
Yeah.
trips you out, right?
Yeah.
It's just the way you perceive it. So what we did as Christopher Benson shot it. So I said, "Okay, bro, I'm a big idea kind of person. I'm not like I want to shoot a bob that looks like this and I'll figure out the rest. I
Yeah.
kind of want a vibe. And then for me, it's I'll build the looks almost like what would I want to see, and kind
Yeah.
of build them that way. So I knew like from the research, him doing research, I bought black lights, created like a studio in the closets, best place to get it dark, and started
Yeah.
moving the hair and started to realize like when you shot it in low shutter and you put movement to it, all those melty bits just did it. Like it's probably
Uh,
the easiest retouch that anybody's ever done because if you look at the raws, they look just like the afters.
yeah, we
Look like
saw
they touched
them.
up the word. I mean, like, but it was no lighting changes, depth, like all those things. It came to life, right? And so in testing it and testing it and testing it, the next thing was to kind of build the color to where it didn't look too clubby, right? To
Right.
where it was, so I, of course, used Pulp Riot. It glows in black light and
Yeah.
diluted it like I think the ratio is 129 grams of clear to
Yeah.
1 gram of that. It was blue, honestly.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and so I knew that then it would reflect. And then if we backed it with black and shot it dark, um, it would move. And the next thing was like building the vibe, putting it on set, and then putting movement to it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of inspired. I like hair that moves. I don't like, the everything's so fixed. And I call it pretty princess. Like it
Yeah.
needs to have a little movement to it. So that was kind of the plan. And then and I mean, to be honest, I wasn't going to shoot this year. I was kind of having two salons, traveling 80 days of the year,
Yeah.
two kids,
Wow.
family, all the things. Coach baseball is busy.
Yeah.
When I got the NAHA Masters invite, I kind of was like, I could never get asked to do this again. This is the most prestigious NAHA you could win.
Yeah.
Like I kind of on the docket of goals had other ones in mind before this one. But if
Yeah.
I'm going to get the chance to shoot it, why not? So I went on like a bender, like building hair. I mean, I can't even remember. My kids were helping me. Like we went off for like 2 weeks because it was about a month time. I basically probably had a couple weeks in the planning and the shooting, and then have to get it to post edit and like all
Yeah.
that. So it was like probably a 3 week period of when I put all the ideas together, tested them, created all the looks, and shot it.
So that's a whole lot. I'd like to break down as people try and find their process about your process. So we were
Mhm.
at Atlanta SeaWorld. We have that. Are you a phone guy? Some I've heard people Pinterest. I've heard people actually create mood boards. Nicholas French draws these amazing,
Yeah,
murals of things, life
yeah.
size almost.
Yeah.
Cassie Carey, who has been hairdresser of the year this year's texture. Her process is she's a drawer as well. What is your process where you have that visual that you can then start communicating to the test and your teams and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, for me, really, it's I find things, I kind of come up with an idea, and that can be from an experience, that can be from seeing an image, seeing a person. It kind of comes, honestly, I don't even have enough time in my lifetime to shoot all the ideas that I have.
Right.
And it's when it comes to me, then I go off and I run with it. Sometimes I
Okay.
don't even do anything with it, but I plan it out in my mind, and then I'm like, okay, I'm saving that one. Oh, that one
Yeah.
would be better to do live in person. Like that
Okay.
one you could really do live. Like Sam
Uh,
always taught me to build the book, and you never know when you got to pull something out of it, right? So no matter whatever I find it in, whether it's somebody else's work, and I'm like, Trevor Sorby for me is like amazing. And
Amazing.
so
Yeah.
I'll see something and I'll be like, like what if I, you know, put this vibe to it, or something that just I think is hot that I just blows
Yeah.
my mind. Could be in nature, like I said, could be really anything. Once I have that, um, like I'm a mood board kind of person, whereas I'll go on a PowerPoint and just put the pictures in. I like to print them, I like to put them up.
Okay.
Of just it could be 10 pages of a collage of things.
Right.
And I think that when you just sit at it and stare at it, I'm not the best of drawers, but I do
Right.
kind of sketch out like what I want, and I look at poses and like, ooh, that would be cool posed like this. Oh, I like that pose. So I just dump all my ideas in a place and I put them out, and then I look at them. Not like, oh, today I need to make the decision of what all I'm going to do. Just over the course of time, just look at them, whether it's a
Yeah.
week, however long. And when I get something, I write that down. It's the best advice I can give. Like sometimes
Yeah.
you'll be driving in the car, you'll be in the morning, it'll be whatever, you'll be in the middle of a whatever. And so I like voice record, like, okay, do this, try that next time. That would be cool,
Yeah.
right? Like put all those things together. And so once that comes, then I have an idea. Then I start building.
Okay.
And what I do is I'm like, okay, I need this kind of hair, I need this hair to do this. Someone will let me do this. This I need to add a piece. It's not
So
enough
you're thinking
hair.
about models now as well, like real hair or textured hair or okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then once I pick the models last. So last thing I do is pick the models.
Okay.
Um, and so the reason, it's because I don't want to shift what is in my brain to accommodate or fit what I'm putting. You know what I mean? It's not a
Been
client.
there 100 times.
Yeah. So see, the opposite is with clients, and I think that's the empowering
Yeah.
part. Like as a hairdresser who works behind the chair, I
Yeah.
it's the opposite. I see it, I fit it, I got to fit their lifestyle, their needs, their budget, all the
Yeah.
things. When you're doing a photo shoot, unless you're going to pay the model to cut their hair off, other than that, they're pretty open long as they can go back to where they were at. And when they
Yeah.
aren't open, you can bribe them. Money talks. So, it's like I'll pay you double your rate if you let me cut all your hair off. And they're like, sure. So just depend, it's
I'll
I
do
learned
it.
that
I'll
from
do it.
Sam too. I've learned that from Sam via too. I watch him do it at a show. Like, are you sure? Like,
Yeah.
could I cut it to here? And if I did, I'll give you $300. And they're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay. And it's like perfect. So that's my process. I'm a like big idea, you know, what's my vibe, what inspires me, then whether they're related or not, what are things that are kind of on my screenshot list of like sickness, like
Okay.
what is just amazing that I'm like blown away by. And what even ad shoots or editorial stuff, the cool way they did that, the way they've done this, like I kind of start building
That mood.
inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell
And
me
then
about
from there, I
this.
go into the hair. Like, then it's
Yeah.
the hair. And then, like, set a goal. Like, today I'm going to build 2 pieces or create 2 ideas of what I'm going to do.
Okay.
And that's what I do. Then I do the two.
Yeah.
I like, that way I'm keeping my mind in, and they may turn out, but what I like is an influence of my mood. I'm looking at all of this while I'm working. It's like,
Yeah.
oh no, we got to switch this, or oh no, we got to
Right.
like, you know,
They're like the dolls are around you. Speaking of dolls, wardrobe and makeup, do you have a process, any advice you can give for the selection, implementation? Because I've been a judge for 12 years. I've been chairman for almost a decade. We've seen a lot of collections that probably would have done better with
mm,
different wardrobe, or not over
totally,
accessorizing, or sometimes the makeup is overpowering. It's like this should have been entered in makeup because I don't see the hair. So
exactly.
any advice for that?
For me, I found a great makeup artist in Atlanta, and shooting before I would look at their work, I would reach out to them,
Yeah.
and say, hey, and it's always worth paying for a test face, right? It's always worth, like, for me, like, I'm gonna shoot in the first shoot we shot together. It's like, here's a prep day. Models come in, I pay the models an extra day, right? Like, come
Right.
in, hit them, test them. What can we do? What do I got to pre-do? What do I got to color? What do I got to cut? Get all
Yeah.
that done, but also have the makeup artist come and do a test face, right?
Okay.
Like, let me see the work. Let me see it on this model of what I want you to do, so that I can tweak it, because in the heat of the shoot, you're worried about the hair. You're not like, once the makeup's done, you don't got the time to say, hey, I need you to make less of an eye. Like, I need you to, like, that's not strong enough. And that's too strong.
Yeah.
I don't know a ton about makeup. And the same thing with like wardrobe. I always say, I know if I like it or if I don't like it,
If it's good or
And
if it's
so,
not good.
yeah, right. But I say, given that extra time or doing a test shoot one day, like, okay, take this model, whatever, take a
Yeah.
picture of it, light it, all the things, helps you create a communication. And we created one to where, in the makeup artist, in her process, she's like, okay, I'm thinking either this or this. Like, what do you think? And we have that time to collab on the total vibe. And then when it comes shoot day, they know what they're doing. They know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's no like, oh, why'd you do the eye like that? Like, why is the lip so dark? Like, you've already planned all of that. Um, and so whether it's the day of, day before, week before, whatever, finding a
Get
good
it
makeup artist
tested.
that you work well with, um, is the key. And that's just, there's a millions of makeup artists that
Yeah.
either do like in-person weddings, editorial, all that. That doesn't mean you're going to vibe or collab well.
No.
So you
It
need
looks
like a
muddy, I
jam
think.
session. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, when their specialty is those events where it needs to really show up all day long at a wedding, I find in photos like NAHA, it's just a lot of shadows and mud that you have to deal with in post. I know you worked with legendary NAHA alumni Christopher Benson for this. I think he probably has strong ideas about when you have the shot. Is there anything you can share with? I mean, do you know it right there on set? Do you just capture 1,000 things and worry about it later? Um,
Yeah. I
I
mean,
know
I
there are
think,
happy accidents, for example, but
for us, it took a minute to get the lights right and get them UV versus black lighting, getting the mood and getting the movement. And on
yeah,
top of the set was so black. I mean, we're in a psych wall that's blacked out,
yeah,
right? So it's like the second you turn all the lights off, I mean, it got by the end of the day, you were like, whoa. Um, and he definitely he's great at giving insight. Like, hey, maybe this, try this, doesn't work, move it, do
yeah.
something. Like, let's try this. And so for me, I always go in and tell him, these are kind of the poses. I want movement on all of this, all of that. And honestly, for this one, until after we shot it at dinner, I did not see the pictures.
Oh man,
I Yeah, I shot two collections in one day, 6 models each, so 12 total looks.
you were doing some hair
And
all day then.
oh, I was in the hair. So it took a while. Once we got them going, then we were banging them out, and I could hear them in there shooting. Like,
Yeah,
oh, whoa, holy,
yeah.
what? Beep. like all the things that were happening. And I saw glimpses of it, and you've seen the video, like our videographer Austin was there. He was doing that, and he was like,
That's
"Dude,
great.
this is crazy."
Yeah.
And my focus was getting it done, and honestly, not keeping the models there too long, because I know if they're there too long, they're not going to perform as well. So,
Right. They get tired.
it's like, yeah. So he's the best at kind of guiding it and saying like, I'll try. Like when I brought him this idea, he's like, you know what? I'll figure out how to make it
Yeah.
this. You
Yeah.
know. So I was like, cool. And when you have somebody, I think it's cool that shooting it that is a hairdresser, they're looking at the hair first, almost,
Yeah.
right? And so, yeah, I mean, we once we
Keith
started getting,
Bryce is another one I think of that really has that eye. Yeah, and that's something. And then there's Babek for many years, not a hairdresser, but knows good hair, right? It's
yes,
just like,
knows it totally, totally.
this is or isn't going to shoot well. You talked about why you competed in NAHA, and it was you joke about Ruth, and like now you're up there, you've proven yourself. Um, but beyond that, what winning this award, what do you think it will allow you to do next? I'm hoping you're going to keep competing. It's only been a couple years in NAHA. Is there some opportunity, something happening that comes from winning the master? Because you said I want to be the best. I don't think there's any award on the planet that says you're the best hairdresser than Master Hairstylist of the Year.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the huge thing, and that's kind of why at first I was kind of like, oh man, I wanted to build like a repertoire of all these wins and then win masters.
Yeah,
Um, but I think when what's meant to be will be, and it just presses me more. It pushes me to kind of um, I don't have to shoot for the win anymore. I don't have to shoot to think what people are gonna think about it, honestly, because I
yeah,
got it. Like it's right there, right?
yeah.
I
You
already
can be
got it.
Quentin Tarantino, right?
I think from now on, I want to shoot things that make you feel something when you see it.
Yeah,
Whether it's just technical, some of the stuff I did from hairdresser of the year last time, people still ask me, they're like, "How did you
yeah,
do this?"
right.
I think it is kind of moving forward, I'll shoot for myself and trying to press it to get the most technical version of what I can do, but also I want it to be a vibe. Everything I
Yeah,
do probably from here on out will be a vibe. It will have some kind of element to it that makes you look at it and go. And I won't even tell you some of the ideas that I ran by Chris, and he was like, "Where do you come up with this stuff?"
I like
Um,
it. I like
yeah,
it.
but I
So
think that
what's
for me, it's art. When you put it all on a picture, it is. Yeah, where it's a hair competition. The hair is important, but I want you to like be inspired by the vibe of the picture, not only the technical or the wardrobe or the makeup or the way it was shot or lit or posed, but really just like an overall like bioluminescence. When you
yeah,
see the collection, you're like,
I get
okay,
it.
if I
It
were to
makes
do hair
sense.
that embodied this would be it. And that for me is when I know I'm on to something. So I don't right now. I'm kind of processing. Okay, like, do I set the goal to see? Humbly, can I win the most amount of Nahas ever won? Maybe. Maybe that's. But now I'm
Neck
looking
and
at it.
neck with Christopher. Are you gonna go? Are you gonna?
Well, I'm like, man, that means these guys got like 10, 12. Some people got crazy number
I
of
think he said
Nahas.
I'm
That
the king
means,
of the world from stage
and we're
one year.
only
I'm not
doing it
sure.
once a year. So that means that I've got to go in to coming
Yeah, you got.
Nahas and win multiple ones. Honestly, the win, I got the win.
Yeah.
I like winning. I'm super competitive.
Okay.
I was like, better not unleash the beast when it comes to this stuff. But
So
yeah,
for
really
the
moving.
for the giving back, which I know you do, I can't imagine if you're mentored by Sam, you don't. Where can people learn from you? Can you share some of that? Are there
Yeah, like
opportunities?
so I teach actually a class in New York called Design Mastery. It's a haircutting class with Sam.
Okay.
And we've sold out, I think, yeah, we're already booking like April of next year,
Okay.
which may already be sold out too.
Okay.
And then I mean, I'll travel, I'll go wherever. I say I'll do it in a closet with a candle. If you want to learn,
Okay.
I'll come there and teach. I travel all over the world with
Yeah.
Redken, and really don't. If it fits in my calendar, I'll come. I really don't care. People are like, "You were in? How did you even get there?" I'm like, "Well, I had to fly here and drive 2.5 hours." They're like, "You would do that?" I'm like, "Listen, like, I am where I am because of education, right? And
Yeah.
working for the brand that puts is the education spotlight is what Reckitt's known for. I
Yeah.
mean, the first time Vidal Sassoon came to the U.S., he came to the Reckitt Symposium.
Yeah.
So the lineage for me is, and people have asked, like, would you do a class? Like, would you do an education class on shooting in your process? And we've done those with Christopher Benson. Moving forward, maybe. I think I got to build a little more like, I got to get a bigger trophy case.
Okay.
So once I do that, then maybe I'll start. I just don't feel I'm the best. I mean, take Roos class. I'm
Yeah.
not, you know what I mean? And so for
Yeah.
me, people asked about shooting, that'd be where I would direct it. I would direct it to the ones that have all these accolades, and have been doing it. I'm the new kid in this realm. If you
Yeah.
want to know how to like stay true to who you are and be creative in that light,
Watch
um,
Ruth.
yeah, man, that lady is crazy. Is so
Yeah.
good. I mean,
She's,
she is so good. It blows my mind. I learned so much about finishing hair. Back
yeah.
in the day, they used to sit, her and Sorby would sit beside me and like, you're touching it like you're changing the oil in a car. Like, it's not a hammer, it's a round brush, like all those things. So surround yourself with people that can help you grow in whatever those
Yeah.
areas are. But I think in the future, yeah, it's something I like to share, kind of my process, um, which is, I mean, stay true. If anything, I shot it Masters, not necessarily to win it, but to put it out there and something new and fresh, with the objective of that's what I felt the category was.
Yeah.
It's so moving forward, that will be the objective. If it's texture that I enter, it'll be to embody
Oh, I
what
can't
that
wait to see
means.
that.
Yeah. I don't
So,
even know yet. We're in talks now. We're in talks now if I'm going to shoot this year, what I'm going to shoot. I kind of build it around NAHA.
I
Everything I
think
shoot
it's required
internationally,
if you win master, you have to enter
you
the
have to
next
shoot
year. I don't know.
again.
A little bird told me. So we're near the end of our show. I want to give you a few moments for final thoughts to all your fans and followers and Redken and Matrix and L'Oreal friends, who have followed your amazing career over the years. But I would like to end with like 5 funny little questions to get to
Yeah.
know. We learned a lot about you today, but maybe we can learn a little bit more. So quick 1, 2 word, 1 sentence answers for each of these.
Yep.
Are you ready? Sound like fun?
Perfectly. Yeah. Let's do this.
All right, Brayden, what's your favorite snack?
My favorite snack is coffee.
Coffee. It's such a low calorie option too, right? Uh, what's your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie of all time. Ooh, that's a hard one.
I don't know why
Um,
I'm getting Fifth Element vibes. I don't. Am
yeah,
I
I
way
don't.
off?
Okay, okay. Here it is. This what I would say. Pirates of the Caribbean with Jack. Yeah, the Sparrow.
It's
Yeah,
good.
it's
Yeah.
that. It's between that and
Uh,
Edward
oh, Johnny
Scissorhands.
Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
So
a Johnny Depp fan. So
how
I
could
mean,
you
maybe
not
I mean
be?
I don't. I have nothing to comment on the last recent years of all the drama. I have nothing to say. I plead the fifth. But Pirates
Yeah.
is
I mean, have you come out to LA? You know, he's actually like animation at Disneyland in Pirates of the Caribbean. So
Oh,
you,
that's one of my favorite movies. But
you've made it. Okay, what's your favorite color?
favorite color is easy, black.
Favorite color is easy. What's a stupid human trick or a thing we don't? Well, we know you change oil. Any trick, stupid, silly trick maybe you can
Um,
demo that we don't know you have,
any trick that I can do.
or
Oh
something
yeah.
we don't know. Yeah,
Okay. So this is crazy, right? So I don't even know if they've done it because I haven't done it forever. But like as a kid, I have big ears, right?
yeah.
My ears don't really have cartilage in them. So they
Oh.
like, yeah, but look, they like, you can also like pull them up, you know?
Oh my God, it's like a
Yeah,
Matthew
like
Barney
they're
exhibit.
crazy. They're like super stretchy.
Dude,
And I have gauges, so when I'm 100, my ears, I'll look like Dumbo.
I want
That's
you
cool.
to Google Matthew Barney cremation cycle. You're gonna see you have a lot of twins there. This was such a fun interview, a conversation as we want them to be. I feel like for those of you watching, he gave so many nuggets on that process, right? Of the weeks that go into it, of the building out, of the shoot, of involve your children, involve your life. Working around his work is something I think we can all take note from. And he really stays involved in every aspect of it and letting the experts do what they do best at the same time. All good stuff captured here, and thank you for that. I'll give you the final word, sir,
Yeah.
if you have
Yes.
anything you'd like to share with your viewers.
Yeah. I mean, I think probably the last 5 years, if not, longer, the biggest advice I can give, and you probably, if you've heard me speak, you've heard me say it, but really like let the distance between where you are and where you want to be inspire you. So many people compare and judge themselves, not only maybe by what they have or what they've accomplished or what they look like. Um, and sometimes we think we're striving to become that when really we're killing all the other great things inside of ourselves. So it's really thinking about letting the distance and seeing your goals and not letting it be a burden of how you're going to get there, but letting it be an inspiration that this is a journey and you don't have to hit it or strike it, hot now. Sometimes now is not the right time. And I say like kind of let that distance inspire you. And if you covered that distance with love in the process, um, it will be rewarding. It may not be in your time, but it'll be in the right time. And so that's kind of my thing. That's kind of how I look at things. Um, can't control yesterday. Sam says when the past calls, don't answer. Uh, for a lot of us, we're like, yeah, right. But really, it's thinking about, especially in this industry, what an opportunity. Um, let where you see yourself and where you potentially feel you could be. That should be your inspiration every day when you wake up.
Yeah,
One little step at a time. So
I love it. I want all of what you just said on my wall as a daily reference. Brain, such an incredible collection you submitted. Congratulations on
thank you
Master
so much.
Hairstylist of the Year.
Thank you.
Folks watching, I think you know why this happened, why he received the invitation. An incredible artist. Can't wait to see what he does next, even though he already has the top prize. To all of you watching, keep being creative, keep learning, keep laughing as we did today, and most important, keep lifting each other up. Because remember, together we're better, right? We're unstoppable if we stick together as a stylist community, supporting each other and really growing as friends. So thank you. I'm Michael Shaun Corby, and I'll see you soon with the next creative conversation, another guest, another story, and another dream come true. Congrats again, Brayden, and I'll
Thank you
see you
so
soon,
much.
perhaps at NAHA.
That's right.
Take
See
care.
ya.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Absolutely.